Hello and welcome to our discussion today. We want to quickly take a look at advanced time management techniques. And for our outline, we'll be looking at the advanced time management strategies. We'll take a look at how they help to enhance um, focus, right? So we'll look at the Pomodoro and deep work principles. We'll look at the batching and chunking. All right. Then we'll look at some automation tools and then how to integrate mindfulness and time tracking into daily routines. So first, why do we have to discuss advanced time management? Why do we even have to talk about it? It's important that we discuss advanced time management because in recent times you realize that everyone is faced with a lot of things to do. You have a lot of tasks that are on your table and all of them require your attention, right? So you realize that there are also, despite a lot of things that have to be done, there are also several distractions. And the rising distractions and workload demand smarter time use. So if we want to continue doing things like we have known how to do it, it will not help because the number of things that have to be done have increased and the distractions have also increased. So as an individual, if you are not careful, you may be distracted and the tasks that you have to complete will be such that they will not be completed. Okay, so simple scheduling is no longer enough. Just trying to plan your day and outline activities that have to be done, just that is not enough. Okay, so there's the need for everyone to um use advanced strategies to plan the time. And what these advanced strategies do is that they give a greater control. They also provide higher productivity and they reduce stress. Okay, so advanced strategies provide higher or greater control, higher productivity, and then less stress. So time is such that now managing time is if you can't manage time, okay, it's you can't the time available for everybody is 24 hours. Okay, what you can do is to manage how you use that time, but you cannot manage the time itself. You are able to manage only how you make use of the time that is available. So there are four strategies we'll look at. We'll look at the Pomodoro, we have discussed this technique, and deep work. Then we'll look at the batching and chunking, then and the automation of repetitive tasks, and then being time aware. All right. So these are what the strategies that we'll be discussing. Like we have said earlier, the Pomodoro technique is a technique that basically looks at the time you focus on work and then some time to take breaks. So according to the technique, you can work or focus on work for 25 minutes. So you have 25 minutes of focused work sessions and then you can take 5 minutes breaks. Okay, so for every 30 minutes of work, you know that 25 minutes is for the work to be done, and then 5 minutes is for you to have a break, right? So in a case where you want to take a long break, what you can do is to put 4 Pomodoros together, right? So that 25 by 4, you are looking at about 100 minutes. So every time you work for 1 hour, 40 minutes, then you can take 20 minutes break. Okay, so that will mean putting 4 Pomodoros together and then taking one break. So 1 hour, 40 minutes of focused work and then 20 minutes of long break to relax. Okay, this helps to maintain rhythm, and then it also helps to keep your memory fresh. Okay, so it helps maintain rhythm and mental freshness. Because if you take the breaks, what it does to you is that it gives you time to cool off, to relax, and then you can get back to work. Okay, so it helps maintain that rhythm and then the mental freshness. It also improves sustained attention and reduces the fatigue of their mind, right? So you are able to concentrate more, pay more attention for quite some time. And then when you take the break, you realize that you are able to de-stress, or you are able to cool off with the work that you have done. Then we look at the deep work principles. Deep work here refers to a distraction-free focus for complex tasks. So maybe you have a research to write, or you have a code to write, or you have maybe some academic writing to do. What deep work says is that you should be able to focus on that complex task without having any distractions in your way. So anything that would distract you from completing the complex task you have set in before you is such that that distraction should be put away. Okay, so for deep work, what it means is that you have set aside some 2 to 3 hours so that you can focus on the complex task only. Okay, so 2 to 3 hours of deep work where you focus on that task, only that one, without any form of distraction. Okay, so what it does is that it leads to superior performance. Once someone gets involved in the deep work principles, you are sure that they will come up with very good results. Okay, so the Pomodoro technique can be used to structure the deep work blocks so that you can put maybe some number of Pomodoros together, knowing that if you work without distractions for maybe an hour and 40 minutes, you have 20 minutes break. Or if you're able to work for like 2 hours and some minutes, you can get like 25 minutes break or 30 minutes, depending on how you have structured the um, the work. So the Pomodoro technique helps to structure the deep work blocks. Okay, using the 25-5, 25-5. So as many of the blocks that you put together, you know that you are focusing on between 2 to 3 hours of deep work. And then after that, you take some minutes of break. All right. You know the proportions. We have discussed this severally. Then we have batching, right? Batching is where the individual groups similar tasks together to minimize task switching. So, for example, if you have to answer messages, or if you have to answer emails, what can be done what can be done, okay, in relation to batching is to maybe have 2 sessions of answering emails, one in the morning and one in the evening. So in the morning, all emails that came through the night will be addressed. So you put all the emails together and then they're addressed in the morning. And then when you log off from your email, from the time you logged off, all messages that will come after that time until the evening time you have set for yourself is when you respond to all the other messages which have come. So what you are doing is to group the tasks together so that once you start responding to emails, you finish responding to the emails, then you can focus on another thing. But you won't be like you respond to one email, go and talk to a friend, come and respond to another email, send a message, respond to another email, write one sentence of your thesis. It won't work. Okay, so batching requires that you group similar tasks together to minimize switching in between the tasks. What this does is that it reduces distractions and improves concentration. Okay, so that if by the time you want to respond to the emails, about maybe 50 emails have come and you have to respond to all of them, you will focus on responding to all the 50 emails before you think about doing something else. Okay, so it reduces distractions and improves concentration. And studies have found that continuous task switching, so you do this, do a bit of this, do a bit of that, that causes about 40% productivity drop. Okay, so it is important that when you start one thing, you will be able to finish all other tasks related to what you are working on. Okay, and that becomes possible when you have been able to batch. Okay, so maybe like we have explained earlier, you do the morning session and then the evening session. So you have 2 batches of responding to emails in a day. All right, so that is the batching. Then you have chunking of work. If you say you are chunking work, then what you are doing is to break the large tasks into smaller logical parts. So if you have to write your paper, or if you have to write your thesis, or if you have to put together a research, what you do is to break out that project into smaller bits or into smaller logical parts. And then as you complete the small bits, you realize that you'll be making headway to completing the tasks. Okay. So what this does is that it prevents the individual from being overwhelmed. All right. You don't get too overwhelmed with how big a particular task is, because you're able to break it down into smaller bits. It also helps with improving your retention as an individual. So as you break down the task, you're able to focus on the small bit at a time. And then you get that done, focus on another small bit until you're able to finish the entire tasks. It also supports comprehension and completion. Okay, so if you break the tasks down, you're able to really understand what is expected of you. You get to appreciate the work that will go into whatever task that you have to complete. All right, and as you finish the small chunks, you realize that you will also be gradually completing the bigger tasks. Okay, so you have batching where you try to put related tasks together and do all of them at a specified time. And then chunking where you break the large tasks into smaller logical parts that you can easily complete. It's also important to know that for a lot of people, there are tasks that are repetitive. So, for example, every day you know that you will be doing a particular set of actions, and it follows like that. Okay. So for those people who have repetitive tasks, what the individual can do is to automate, all right? Find ways of automating the tasks, because they are repetitive no matter what it is. If you finish all the tasks today, tomorrow you are going to do the same thing. The next day you are going to go through the routine again. All right. So you notice that it is a repetitive thing. For those repetitive tasks, it is important to automate so that you'll be able to save time. All right. And also focus on other things. right? And what automation does is that it helps to redirect focus to high impact work. So for the ones which are repetitive and don't need you to put in so much thought, right? Or they will not really make any big impact. The difference, if that is not done, is not too much. You automate those tasks, and then you are able to make time or make room for high impact work, all right, that requires you to maybe think through it or come up with suggestions. Okay. And some of the um, apps or tools that can help to automate your repetitive tasks. You have the Gmail filter, right, for emails. So if you filter, depending on where a particular email is coming from, if it is spam, it won't even get to you for you to read, right? It will just quickly direct it into your spam box, and then you are good to go and focus on other um important things. Then for those of you writing your project or you're about to start your project, you have what you call the reference managers. Okay, you have Zotero, you have Mendeley, and all of those are tools that can help you to manage your references. Remember that for academic writing, you have to include your references and have a reference list. Okay, so these tools can help to automate the that part of your writing. There's also Grammarly, which is an app that helps to check your grammar. So maybe whilst you are typing and you are in a hurry to finish, you make typographical errors or you make grammatical errors, the Grammarly can help to correct them, and that is automated. You can also have some scheduling tools. Okay, the Google Calendar can help with that. There's the Calendly that can also help with that. So that, for example, if you have a meeting, quickly the meeting is scheduled on your calendar, Google Calendar. So what happens is if another meeting is scheduled and that meeting coincides with what has already been scheduled, then it will not work until you are able to find another free time for the second meeting. Okay. So it helps with automation, right? Then there are also tools that can help you to automate your workflow depending on the type of work that is being done. It can help to automate your workflow. And then you have tools that also help with the automation of backup, right? So you can look at your Google Drive or your OneDrive, and all of those are ways to automatically back up your work or back up your files. And then in the case of any loss, you know that you are safe. All right. But you don't get out of yourself to really uh, do any backup. But because the system has been automated, or because you have a tool that can automate that, then you know you are good to go. So automation helps to save time on repetitive tasks. Okay, because it's the same thing that is being done over and over again. You can set yourself aside, put yourself in the corner, and allow the system or software or tool to work. Okay. All right. Then we look at mindfulness, right, as a tool that helps to manage time. If we say mindfulness, it refers to present moment awareness. So it means being aware of the present, knowing what is happening in the present. That is mindfulness. So if someone is mindful, what it means is that they know what is happening around them in the present. Okay. And there are several ways that people are able to achieve mindfulness. Can be meditation. People have some people take breaks. Some people do breathing exercises just to be sure that they are being mindful or they are being aware of the present moment. And the advantages of this is that it reduces stress. So there's less stress with mindfulness. You realize that there's a better time perception because you are in the present, you are aware of the present. And so in most cases, you are able to make good use of the present time, right? And it's also such that you have very few distractions. So, for people who are mindful or for people who are aware of the present moment, they don't tend to lose a lot of time and they don't allow distractions to steal their time without them knowing. Okay. It also improves clarity and reduces stress. Right? We have said this already. Mindfulness reduces stress. It improves clarity. It reduces social media and then procrastination. We looked at procrastination about a couple of weeks ago. You may want to revisit the document if for some reason you have forgotten. But mindfulness reduces social media as well as procrastination. Okay. Then we have time tracking tools. The time tracking tools help you to be able to record how you are making use of time. Okay, so these tools help you to record how you have used the time that has um, that has passed. And what it does is that it makes the individual build awareness of unproductive patterns. So if things are not happening the way you want them to, and it is because you are actually wasting time on unnecessary things, the time tracking tools will help you to identify the patterns in your lifestyle that is encouraging that laziness or that is encouraging the way things are going. Okay. And if some of these unproductive patterns are dealt with, you realize that you have some time on your hand to complete the difficult tasks that you have to complete. So 25% drop in time wasting when people track their time. So studies have found that for those who are able to track their time well, they are able to drop time wasting by 25% just by being aware of the present. Okay. So it is important to combine mindfulness and tracking, okay, so that it will yield the transformation and the productivity that we are looking for. All right. So we've looked at several tools. How do we merge them? How do we put all of them together? Right? So like we said, the Pomodoro technique, it works well with deep work blocks. How? If you have 25 minutes, 5 minutes break, 25 minutes work, 5 minutes break, like that, you can put them together. So you can put the work time together, the break time together, and then that will help you to focus on a particular task. So it means that it's important to combine the Pomodoro with the deep work blocks. Okay. And then small batch of tasks can also help. All right. So the batching will require that you bring small tasks that are related together or that are similar together so that you put your mind to completing all those small tasks that you have set out to complete. Then you have the chunking. Chunking is where you have a very big project, but you want to divide the project you have into small bits so that maybe for each small bit you can complete in a few days or maybe in a week. But where you have to focus on the entire project, that's likely to take maybe about a year or some number of years. It really does not help. So it's important to break the projects into weekly stages that can be managed effectively. Okay. We spoke about the tools for writing. We spoke about Mendeley. We spoke about Zotero. We spoke about Grammarly. All right. It's important to use these tools when you are writing because it saves a lot of time, right? There are also tools that can help with proofreading and scheduling of the work. So you may want to explore more on the tools that help with the time management. Okay. And then it's important to practice daily mindfulness. We said the mindfulness is being aware of the present. Okay, so on your own, individually, wherever you find yourself, you may want to practice it. Just decide or just think about the present. Think about what is happening presently because it helps with daily mindfulness. And then from time to time, it's good to review your time logs. Okay. So for example, if you made notes on a particular day and you know that you have to come back and address certain things in the notes you made, it's important that you review the time logs. Okay. And that will help to um to manage the time. And then it's important finally to note that advanced strategies are not complementary. They are rather complementary. So as the strategies have been designed as such that they complement each other, they do not compete against each other. They complement each other. So if you find any of these strategies useful, it's important to know that these strategies work together as complements. Okay. So it's not like focusing on one and leaving the others, but it's good to integrate all that we have discussed. And then to conclude, we want to say that for structured focus, if you want to have structured focus, it's important to focus on the Pomodoro technique and the deep work techniques. Deep work is where you bring several blocks of Pomodoro together so that you'll be able to focus on a particular task, right? Then you have the batching and chunking, which helps to reduce overload. Okay. So if you put smaller tasks, related tasks together, you are batching. And then when you break down big tasks into smaller tasks, then you are chunking. And these reduce overload. Then you also have automation where you try to automate repetitive tasks. Okay. And this saves time for what really matters. And those ones which are repetitive, they are taken care of by whichever software that you have available. And then mindfulness and tracking helps to create better awareness and also less stress. So mindfulness requires you to be present, to be aware of the present, know what is happening presently. And tracking refers to the usage of your time, all right, over a particular period. And you are able to look back and check how your time was used effectively or how your time was mismanaged. Okay, so it's important to use these tools to manage the work that you find yourself in. And then in class, these tools are very helpful when you have to do well. Okay, so academically, you may want to apply some of these tools also. Okay. All right. So these are your activity, right? Your work. What I expect you to do, number one, is to tell us what your time management technique or what we have discussed today that you already use. So what time management technique do you already use? And then secondly, which of the ones not used? Okay, so if you have any ones out of the four that you do not use, I'm asking which of those ones have you not used? And will you try or will you try first? All right. So for the ones you have not used, which ones will you try first and why will you try them? Okay. So these are reflection questions for you. Please, this is individual. All right. It is individual. So once you come up with um your responses, you may send them to me by email. Okay. Reach out to me if you have any challenges. All right. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in class.